This episode is sponsored by Conjure Tea. I know I talk about Conjure Tea before every episode, but they're having a Valentine's Day sale that you do not want to miss. That sale also applies to their Baked by Conjure section, and given the company's founded by a pastry chef, I couldn't more highly recommend adding that to your tea order. My current favorite teas are Lunar and Golden Ticket. Lunar is pretty much a tea and an herbal sleep aid. I'm a notoriously bad sleeper, but I had it before bed last night and it really helped. I also love Golden Ticket, which is a turmeric-based tea that helps with joint stiffness and inflammation. Also, do you say turmeric or turmeric? Tweet us and let me know if I'm missing the mark. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, for a limited time, you can receive 20% off your purchase using promo code STEEP20 on conjuretea.com. That includes all tea and pastries, so you don't want to miss this. That's promo code STEEP20 to get 20% off your purchase for a limited time at conjuretea.com.
You know, a lot of things happen to your body when you're pregnant, but one of them is your nipples get darker.
I didn't know that nipple color changes when you get pregnant.
I didn't either until I was like, these aren't my nipples.
Deep conversations.
Oh my God, let me see your mug real fast. What are we working with here?
This is my own merch from my podcast, I Love a Lifetime movie. I got this for my mom and I have not given it to her yet. So it says Naomi as in Naomi Ekperigin.
Love her very much.
Megan as in myself. Peggy as in my mom. And Lifetime.
Hold on. You haven't given your mom a mug that has her name on it.
Well, because we celebrated Thanksgiving together and did Christmas then. Don't you worry about her. I gave her a Yerman ring. She's fine. And then this came after I got back. And now I actually unexpectedly do have to go back there for Christmas. And so I will be bringing her the mug then. I definitely know what Peggy likes and have to help my father. And they've been married 43 years. And I still give him guidance.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't, well, I mean, you know, my father is no longer with us, but even when he was here, my mother was never coming to me being like, what does dad want? I was like, I don't know. I'll tell you what he didn't want, ties. What he did want was like bongo drums, which is...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. My dad is the lead singer of a classic rock band, so he would be into some bongos.
Hold on. Like a classic rock band that I know?
A cover band.
Oh, a cover band.
No.
I was like, what?
Band.
I'm thinking like your dad is Steve Perry? Like...
I wish.
Do you wish? I don't know.
No, I'm happy to have my dad.
Are you just a small town girl living in a lonely world? I don't know.
Yeah, my dad's John Mellencamp. No, that would make me Teddy Mellencamp, and I do not want to be her.
Hold on. John Mellencamp has a daughter named Teddy?
Yeah, and she was a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills.
Why do I feel like you're a wealth of knowledge of things I don't know?
My knowledge when it comes to sports, Bravo, Indiana, pretty deep well. But yeah, I mean, you're making a face of like, those aren't things anyone really cares about.
No. I'm making a face of things that those don't feel like they would overlap to me.
Yeah, Bravo and sports. Obviously, I'm the only little one in the middle of the Venn diagram by myself. But I'm very good at Jeopardy. So I feel like I've got a little, trivia vein running through my brain.
No, I love that. The way I got my first manager was writing a pilot about bar trivia because I'm obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. I love it. And he was like, what made you want to write this? I was like, I do it once a week. And he was like, oh,
yeah.
Every week? I was like, yeah.
I used to host bar trivia
when
I lived in Chicago. And it was some of the darkest days of my life.
Wait, what bar? So I don't know that we overlapped. I don't think we overlapped in Chicago because I lived there for a little bit. What bar did you host at?
It was called Bridget McNeil's. It is now since closed. It was at the corner of Belmont and Lakeshore.
Oh, I'm sure I was there. I am sure.
420 West Belmont. And I was a waitress, bartender, and hosted trivia there.
And the trivia was far and away the worst part.
100%. Because at one point I waitressed during trivia, which was actually like, this bar was all regulars because it was in the first floor of a high rise. It's like right at that corner where there's a bunch of high rises.
Yeah.
And so people would just come there. Very neighborhood bar. 95% regulars, I'm going to say. And so the people that come in for trivia, they're like, well, we come weekly. And it's like, okay, but everyone else here comes daily. So you're not special to me. And they all want whatever the special is. They want it now. And then they all want separate checks immediate when the game is over. So it's like once you get the hang of that, you could end up making some money if you included gratuity on any table over 6, whether they wanted separate checks or not. But people, they just had a true sense of entitlement. And then when I was hosting it, they would want to argue with me. And it's like, I don't care. Like, I make the same amount whether you win, whether you get last place. The last thing I want to do is fight with a fucking dork right now. So come up here and I will ruin your night. But people take it so seriously. And then you're just like having to look things up to prove it. And it's like, I didn't even write these questions half the time.
Oh, you worked for like a bigger company. Not worked for it, but who was writing the questions?
We just had like a database of questions. Well, sometimes the manager would write them. My friend Amanda, who worked there, she had like just a database of tons and tons of questions. Or then people would be like, I don't like this question. This category doesn't make, just so picky.
Now I feel like I'm like thinking back to my bar trivia days. I'm like, I don't think I was that bad. What my favorite thing was coming up with team names. And like some people phoned it in, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if it were like a guy who was hosting like trivia guys hot, you know, like things like that. But really going above and beyond, like it was American beers, like having sex in a canoe was a great title, a great like team name, you know, things like that were.
Yeah, team names were very. I played once at a bar in Highland Park right by my house, and we came in. It was 3 couples, and we all kind of had varying degrees of expertise in things, and that's good, you know. And we played one time, we came in second place, and we were like, this is going to be our fucking thing. We are going to come here. You guys are going to get babysitters for your kids, and we are going to win every single week. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and then none of us followed up. I was like,
then it was just like, the world shut down, and we're never playing trivia again.
I'm curious for someone like, okay, before I ask that question, I should just mention for anyone who's listening at home, we are drinking Chamomile Medley by Rishi Tea.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's delicious.
I have not had a sip yet.
Oh, God. Well, so for those drinking it at home with us, it steeps at 212, so it steeps at boiling. Yeah, do you like it?
It is delicious.
I love it. So you had mentioned, you were like, I kind of want a decaf, and I was like, oh, this is tough because there are so many decafs that I love, you know, and I get into them, and I was like, oh, but she mentioned chamomile, and I was like, I have 4 different chamomiles. We're drinking that, steeps at 212, because it's a Teas-on, anyone listening, steep for as long as you want. I did 6 minutes. Do what makes you happy.
Well, and you know, the British criticize, they say we steep too long.
Have British people criticized you with the tea steeping? How do you know that?
No. I think I honestly don't know if this was on a TV show. During the pandemic, I went into a very extensive trying to finish all of the Agatha Christie's. So maybe it was in there, but I did hear that the British say 2 minutes.
Okay, this is embarrassing.
And I'm guessing it varies. That may be for a black tea, like an English breakfast or something. A green tea, I hate green tea. That was when you asked what I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it tastes like sticks. And I love all tea. Tea is a passion of mine. I love high tea.
That.
And I drink it in the British way. I do like it with milk. I like it with milk and honey.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, and if there's no honey, I will put sugar in it.
It's a JFTZ. It's a judgment-free tea zone. Do what you want.
Okay, great. And I just knew that the Brits were critical of the length of time. But what are they not critical of us about? And I'm not saying we don't deserve it.
Sure.
But I don't think there's anything that they point to of us and they go, they've nailed that.
No, listen, when I was in Australia, this is like a decade ago, and someone turns to me and they were like, you elected Bush before Obama? And I was like, do you think I have the power, individually speaking, to choose the president? Just me. Do you? And they were like, I don't get America. I'm like, okay, well, like, that's cool.
And the thing is, we don't either.
I have no understanding.
I was in Australia, and this was the summer of 2017.
Oh, recent. Okay.
And so I was there with other comedians, and like one had gone out to like smoke weed and then come back in. Another one had gone out to smoke weed with this group and then come back in. And then I had gone out to smoke weed with this group, and, you know, we're like passing the joint around. And I'm like, listen, guys, I just want you to know that like we don't like Trump. we are embarrassed. Like, that was not us. And they go, every single one of you has brought this up. Like, we were all going out to smoke weed and be like, we're sorry. And so, like, they were almost mocking us that we were so, like, please don't judge us by this man.
Did you proactively say it, or did one of them be like, ugh?
Yes, we all proactively brought it up and was like, please do not judge us by this.
What were you doing in Australia, by the way? I want to
Stand up.
Well, sure, but I mean, were you doing like the Australian Fringe or?
It was called like a headliners tour.
Oh.
And so they brought 4 of us over there, and we were doing shows in Sydney, Melbourne, and then
Brisbane?
one other place, I think. No, we didn't go to Brisbane. I can't recall. We were there for 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And I would say the Australians didn't love my comedy.
I don't think, someone asked me the other day, they're like, why don't you do comedy internationally? I go, I don't think I'm internationally great. I don't think I'm internationally loved.
Yeah, I don't think of myself as like highbrow.
No, me either.
But when I was in Australia, I was like, oh, these people are really stupid. When we would do like alt shows or like bar shows, it was very much like how a show in LA or New York would be. It was like, oh, okay, I'm connecting. And then we would do these like bigger club shows. It was like doing comedy in Indiana, and I can say that, like I'm from there. And so you're just like, oh yeah, you guys are ding dongs. There's dumb people everywhere. America has not cornered the market on dumb people.
No.
And Australians, woo, boy, they got some dummies over there.
The trick is that, they're speaking another language, truly. When I arrived there, some guy asked me if I wanted to get a hot chook at Macca's in the Arvo. This was on my first day.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what? And he repeated himself slower as if I was I'm like, what does that mean? And he looked at me like I was truly the dumbest human alive.
Yeah.
He was like, it's a chicken sandwich.
I had a joke at the time where I said the word shovel, and no idea.
Shovel?
You don't know what you can't even go with me on it. It was like, I don't even know what another word for that is.
You know what joke of yours I wonder if they would get? I don't know if you changed this a little bit, because I saw you do this a couple of times because we were on a few different shows, was you said Mount Dunkmore.
Yeah.
You're referencing a t-shirt. Would they get something like
Yes.
that?
No, not a chance.
Okay.
Not a chance.
Okay.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't get it, but they just hear it and it sounds funny. Because, it's a very specific shirt that my husband has.
I've seen it.
That is Mount... Who do we like? Who are the presidents?
Who
Who are the presidents that are on the mountain?
It's Roosevelt, Washington. Oh, this is embarrassing. It's Teddy,
Yeah.
Washington. Oh no. I'm gonna say I'm telling you, every listener right now is screaming it. They're
I
screaming.
can't even
it.
remember what the name of the thing is, though.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, thank you. I mean, totally gone. It's Mount Rushmore, but but of men that dunk. And so I think it's like Jordan, Barkley. I feel like David Robinson is on it.
Good choice.
And maybe even Scotty might be. I feel like there were 2 bowls on it. And I'm like, And it's just a shirt that says Mount Dunkmore. And it is what my husband, I believe, proposed to me in.
Yeah.
Mount Dunkmore is not a real thing. You don't need to know it. But my mom doesn't know what Mount Dunkmore is, but she just hears me say it and she's like, that sounds funny, And sometimes you can rely on people not knowing, but just going, oh, the words together are funny. But sometimes you really can't.
Did your mom, because my mother's never seen me do stand-up.
Wow.
I know, it's been years, years. Does your mother listen to your stand-up? Does she know a lot of it?
Oh, yes. My mom especially has been to every TV appearance I've done.
Everyone?
She's been to both my late night sets, and she came to my half hour. And she came when I did New Faces in Montreal.
Amazing.
She came to my album recording, but she hasn't I did Adam Devine's house party. She didn't come to that, but she would have if I would have allowed her to. She wants to come to every single show possible.
All right. Again, she's not going to listen. So let me be clear. I love my mom. She's great, whatever. My mother lives in Boynton Beach, which is an hour north of Miami. I don't know if you know it. It's old Jewish corner. I was down there and I was performing at the Palm Beach Improv, which, to be clear, if you drive slow, is 20 minutes from where she lived, right?
Yeah.
Not far. She's never seen me do stand-up. I'm down there. I was like, hey, I have a set tonight. It's going to be a good time. It's not too crazy.
It's a real club.
Yeah.
It's not like some weird bar where maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't.
Yeah.
This is like a professional business.
Toward the end of dinner, we ate like 5. The show was at like 8. She goes, I don't know. I think I'm too tired. And I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, you didn't do anything today. And she goes, well, I think there's a new NICUS on. That's what she calls NCIS. And I was like, you have a DVR. And she was like, I think I'm going to, you do the thing with the people and I just come back when you're done. I
honestly think I hear more comedians say that is their parents than what I'm describing. My dad comes to like a lot, but my mom comes to like a lot. But I feel like I have tons of friends and they're like, my parents have never seen me do it.
Yeah, I do jokes, but not at her expense, but like I talk about her a little bit on stage. And I told her, I was like, it's nice stuff. Like, I don't say anything mean about you, but like,
I say mean things. I do jokes at their expense to their face while they're sitting in the crowd. And they love it. They eat that shit up. If anything, they're like, more jokes about us. Like, if my parents are there and I don't reference them, I know that my mom is upset.
She's like, they know me from the podcast merch. You gotta mention me.
Yes. When I did Conan, her friends, our family friends were like, I'm surprised they didn't show your mom. Why didn't they put her on the screen? I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if the cameraman had that directive.
I didn't tell him where she was sitting.
Yeah.
That is so crazy to me. I wonder. Well, listen, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change my life if she doesn't come. But I'm telling you, we're at the point now. I think if I said, hey, I'm doing stand-up, she'd go, no. And I go, hey, Megan's doing stand-up. She'd go, I don't know Megan, but I'll see her.
I wonder if that is because I think they get really nervous for us. I think there's an amount of embarrassment, too, of like, oh my God, are they going to tell our secrets? Is everybody going to be looking at me? Is everyone going to know that I'm their mother? And watching your kid do bad in a sport, I fear that moment coming. But like seeing your kid bomb, I think they're so afraid of us not being good that it takes some of them out of it.
Oh my God. I suppose that's true. My mother used to come see me when I was in high school doing musicals. And I'm sure she was not thrilled with that. She would say she liked it, but I'm sure she would be like, yeah, it was great seeing my son go through puberty while singing Guys and Dolls. Like, I'm sure that's not necessarily wasn't a thrilling experience.
I would love that shit.
Would you?
Yeah. That may be a generational thing. I mean, my niece was in a community production of Matilda in like a suburb of Wisconsin.
I would have seen it.
You better believe I flew there to go see her.
Oh.
Like, I'm like, yes. I want to see my little glasses wearing 9-year-old niece be in Matilda. Thank you.
Wait, she was the title role?
No, she wasn't. She was in the chorus. I said, I'm going. I don't care. I don't care if you got top billing, bottom billing.
You're going to be there.
Megan's coming. Yeah.
So I am a new-ish uncle. I'm trying to find the balance. My sister tries to FaceTime me like 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
To like see this kid who I love. I love him. He's a lovely kid. But I'm just like, I don't usually FaceTime generally, like, cause I take calls while I'm doing other things or I'm in the car or this, that. I'm just like, I was like, can we talk on the phone? She goes, we want to FaceTime.
No, you got to FaceTime because here's the thing. I have 4 nieces and 1 nephew. And my youngest niece was born 6 months before the pandemic. And she's so sweet, so cute, just a little angel I love so much. And I'm like, she's not going to know me. Like, I know her sister. I know her cousins. I know all of them. I've been like a more active part of their life, even despite living across the country. But this bitch and we FaceTime and she knows me. So it was like, I had not seen her since she was 3 months old. She obviously does not remember me. It was at my wedding. It's like I was busy. And then when I saw her in person at 1.5 years, Aunt Megan, she knew. So it's like, especially with the distance, if you're not able to put in that in-person FaceTime, I think the phone FaceTime, we're so lucky to have it.
That's true.
And the kids really do form a connection with you and know your face. And I think are like, oh, okay, that's my uncle. Listen, I don't think FaceTiming a baby is like necessary. I do it because I want to see the babies.
Sure.
But once they can like see you, and there's really fun games on the phone, silly faces. My nieces always are like, can we play silly faces? And I'm kind of the only one that lets them do it. Basically, the emoji becomes their face. So they're like a piece of poop.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
And so then they're like, I'm poop. whoop. You know, they go nuts for this shit. Okay, this is their Arsenio, and my brother
What
has
a
to
reference.
he has to be like, okay, one more silly face, and all the tongues are different. So you're like, you're a unicorn. Show me your tongue, unicorn, and you're like, wow, you got a sparkly purple tongue.
I'm learning. I could step it up in the uncle department, I think.
Also, if this is your first one, my first one, I didn't knock it out of the park. She's the one who's 9 now, and now I kill it for sure. But it's like at first, you don't know what to do, really. But I feel like I'm like an aunt pro now. And the gifts. I mean, the gifts are big. The gifts are big.
So I got him for his birthday this really sick, well, I was about to say motorcycle. Anyone who's listening, it was not a real motorcycle, but I got him like a little kid motorcycle thing.
Yeah. Nice.
And I said to Greer, my sister's name is Greer. I said, Greer, every time he's on that motorcycle, I want you to say my name. Just so he gets on, be like, Uncle Josh got you that every time. And she goes, I think he knows. I go, let's make sure he never forgets.
Yeah. Drive it home.
Yeah, nail that point.
Yeah, because one of my nieces is not that nice to me, but she does know that I'm the presents keeper. And so, like, she'll be nice to me. My nephew he's not a big FaceTimer, but it's like, what do you want for Christmas? He's front and center on the FaceTime. Like,
smart kids.
You can bribe children. You can bribe anybody. And I recommend doing it amongst family.
Yeah, I was going to say government officials, maybe less so, but family for sure.
No, young children, bribe them.
I'm ready. I'll bribe him. Yeah. I'm ready to bribe him now.
Toys are cheap. That's the thing. I'm like, oh my God, I'll buy you 1,000 toys. This shit is nothing.
He was asking for chunky dunks and a Chanel bag. So I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
These are the things he asks for. I don't know. That's what he likes.
I mean, I bought my niece and nephew an iPad to share last year.
Dear Lord.
And they're like, I mean, they can't even believe it.
Yeah, you're the best aunt for the rest of their lives.
And then I go to Wisconsin to see Matilda in leather pants. And they're like, this bitch is something.
I'm going to be a cooler uncle. I'm ready for it. I do want to take us to our first segment. It's called the Newly Friend Game. It's like the Newlywed Game, but we're friends and we're going to do it that way. So typically I ask you a question and then we both write down the answer. Then we ask me a question and we both write down the answer. Today, we're both going to have the same question.
Okay.
For your question, it will be mine too. But for you specifically, what is your favorite professional sports moment from your childhood? I'm taking a shot at this, and I feel like it's a good guess.
I'm writing a novel.
Oh my gosh! Well, now I feel like I might not.
No. Okay. No, it's because I'm writing a second one, just in case that was what you. Just in case. Just in case. Okay, we're gonna flip our boards on the count of 3. This is my guess for what your favorite professional sports moment was from your childhood. Flipping on 1, 2, 3. What do you got for me? Mine says 8 points in 13 seconds.
Mine says Reggie. I thought it was 9 seconds. It's 13?
I always get confused. I think it's 13.
Oh my God. Wait, is that what you said or that's what you thought I would say?
No. That's what it is.
I'm going to look right now.
Oh, it is 9. Well, this says 9 seconds. I guess it is 9 seconds. Okay, well then you remember it better than me. I don't know.
I mean, I remember it because it ruined me. I cannot believe that. We got it.
Yeah, we got it. Well, I'm wearing a Pacers Boom Baby shirt.
I know you're a big Pacers fan. Were you watching in real time? Because I feel like you watched a lot of these sports as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Especially playoffs. Playoff Pacers was massive. And like growing up in Indiana, you're either a Purdue or IU fan.
Sure.
And my parents are not from Indiana. And I went to Purdue. So like no one in my family, they had no college allegiances.
Sure.
And so the Pacers were huge for us. We didn't have to split it with Butler, IU, Purdue, nothing. So we poured everything into the Pacers, and Reggie lived in our neighborhood, and Boomer was obviously iconic, and I was friends with Vern Fleming's daughter.
Hold on. Did you say Reggie lived in your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
What?
He lived not on my street, but on my best friend Maggie's street. He lived at the end of her street.
I'm stunned.
Until he got traded, Victor Oladipo lived across the street from my parents.
I mean, I'm like, I don't want to like fanboy out, but did you get to meet either of them?
So Reggie, I have met because CJ and I got engaged in front of his mural. And when he saw it, he was so kind and commented on it and said, I bless this.
Oh my
and
God.
Then we actually got to interview him. And he was like, we are forever linked together because you guys chose that to be the place where you like decided to get married. I mean, truly, he's an angel. Oladipo, my parents were friendly with. And then Larry Bird, and this is now a different neighborhood. These are different neighborhoods. And then Larry Bird lived down the street.
Your life is so befuddling.
But there's only so many places to live in Indiana.
I mean,
in Indianapolis, and they live in much bigger houses than my parents. I want to make that clear. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get mine. What is my favorite professional sports moment from childhood? I'll be really impressed. I don't think, well, maybe you will, but we'll see. This looks like a novel, but I'm being very specific. All right. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
What does yours say?
Mine says, Allen Houston, floater from the free throw line against the Miami Heat, 8 seed upsetting a 1 seed.
Okay, mine says John Starks headbutting Reggie.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I should have. Oh, that's really good for me too. That's really good for me.
I just thought maybe we would both have, we would have Knicks, Pacers memories.
That one's really, really good for me. Starks was a feast or famine player. I loved John Starks. Loved him. I understand the implications of what happened in 1994 Game 6, but like I genuinely love John Starks, and he's my baby angel. I love him.
Yeah, I think he's like it's not dissimilar to Reggie. It's like if Reggie hadn't been on the Pacers, I'm sure I would not like him, but he was on my team, and so I will truly do anything for him.
I mean, you
Absolutely
did.
Anything.
You had your proposal in front of his mural.
Well, but I didn't pick that. That was picked for me, but I was obviously thrilled.
Would you have ever asked him to officiate? Do you think? I'm sure he wouldn't have, but like.
You know what? We were supposed to invite him, and I just I don't know, spaced it or was like, I don't want to bother him anymore. He's going to think I'm crazy. And I don't think he would have come, obviously. It was like in Palm Springs, whatever.
Sure.
But then when we interviewed him, he's like, I really wish you guys had invited me.
No, he did not say that. No, he did not. Oh,
yes.
What do you do with that information? I would just be like, I can't.
I'm like, shoot.
We're going to have to renew the vows. Take it back.
Well, yeah, because then I was like, well, Reggie, what? Because people were like, are you going to invite him? It's like, well, what am I going to do? Cheat on CJ on my wedding night? Like, come on, I can't do that.
I mean, like, the worst part would be, and I'm sure you didn't do this, but the worst part would be if you invited a different professional athlete and they showed up. That would have been the worst.
Yeah. If I invited Reggie Wayne,
sure.
Not even just a different Reggie, same town.
Any Reggie Bush, whoever you want.
Yeah, Reggie Bush. I mean, that would have been really.
Or Oladipo, if you brought him over.
Yeah. Well, we did end up, our wedding song was Casey Musgrave's Rainbow. And we had been like on the fence about it. And then, because it was like a song we both loved, we love Casey Musgraves.
I actually do too, yeah.
And then Victor Oladipo sang Rainbow during his pursuit of the Masked Singer title. And it was so beautiful that's like what sealed it. And I thought about having the Victor Oladipo Masked Singer version be the wedding song.
I swear if you did that, I would lose my mind.
Yeah, we probably should have. He does a beautiful rendition. He's got a great voice.
He's got an incredible voice. I have fallen into YouTube rabbit holes. Mm-hmm. And I was watching this sommelier rate famous celebrities' wines.
Oh, fun.
And like, you'd be surprised at the people who make, like Dwayne Wade, like apparently have like a very good wine.
Believe it.
Yeah,
he seems like
guy.
he does high class stuff. Well, because him and Gabrielle Union, they had an HGTV like one-off special.
What? I
will watch a lot of HGTV, and it's like if an athlete does something on a crossover platform that like I watch without them, I'm fully in, And so they were like building their dream house, but I don't think they ended up actually living in it. I think it was like all for this like 1 hour show that I was fully invested in.
I am so confused how you find time to do comedy when you're fully up to speed on HGTV, Bravo, and sports. And then
I don't do anything else. I'm very lazy. But I honestly think like I'm not a college football fan. I find college football to be like evil and like a perpetuation of like terrible.
Listen, if it's any consolation, and I feel like of all people, you're going to understand what I'm about to say, but like I don't watch, and this is no judgment at all, I don't happen to watch a lot of reality TV. But I will tell you, my girlfriend's going to hate that I'm sharing this, but like she's never going to hear this, so it doesn't really matter. She was watching the new season of Selling Sunset, which is a show.
Yes.
Okay, so you know it.
Oh, yeah. Fully caught up. Love it all.
Right. So I've only seen a few episodes, but I'm literally like, she's like, I'm just going to watch some Selling Sunset. And I was like, I don't understand Chriselle's choices in life. And then,
Yeah. It's really funny, the reality shows that clock for straight men and the ones that don't. Like, I love all the Housewives. Like, there's not Bravo programming that I don't consume. Like, every even just strange tangent, I've given it a shot. And I'll be like, I'm not watching this. And then I watch the full season. So,
Sure.
like, I try and find ways in for CJ, my husband. And so, like, Real Housewives of Potomac, Juan Dixon's wife is on it. Well, it's his ex-wife, but now they're getting remarried, Robin Dixon.
oh my.
And she's gorgeous, very gorgeous. And like, he loves Juan Dixon because he was on the Wizards with Jordan.
Are we talking about the same Juan Dixon? He loves that Juan Dixon.
Marilyn
Terps.
Terps. Well, he loves that like Juan Dixon is on reality TV. He doesn't love him, but it's like, oh my God, Juan Dixon is on a show you're watching. And the women on Real Housewives of Potomac are very gorgeous.
Oh.
And the first 2 seasons, there was a woman named Charisse who was married to Eddie Jordan, who at the time was the Wizards coach. So there was like enough sort of like sports crossover that he will sit there while I watch Potomac. And then there's other shows where it's just like, he's like, all of these faces are exactly the same to me. I have no idea what's happening. And there's like truly no connection for him. But sometimes like Below Deck will clock with him,
Sure.
which is the one on a yacht. So it is very interesting. Like you'll hear other straight men be like, yeah, I like the boat one.
Yeah, sure. Oh, sure. Yeah, Jess has thrown a few shows at me. What she makes a joke about is she's like, she's like, listen, I watch shows like Selling Sunset or Manifest or whatever the other ones are that she's watching. And she's like, and you watch Bob's Burgers and like, the things that you like. And I'm like, Bob's Burgers is universally enjoyable. She goes, not to me. And I'm like, okay.
So I was Selling Sunset.
I watched some of it. I don't come in.
I honestly end up not watching like any scripted television.
Oh my God.
Because my full life is consumed with reality and sports. But it's like, as far as like a gal in the biz, for a TV writer, I'm a bad consumer.
Okay, so second segment, super simple. It's called Teach Me Something.
Okay.
Everyone in my entire life has told me I have a lot to learn, so I typically use this section to do a little learning. It could be 10 seconds, it could be 10 minutes, preferably not 10 minutes because I don't have that attention span, but hit me with anything you got.
Okay, so this won't actually be that beneficial for you. And even as I say this, thinking about you using it as like a fun fact would maybe even be creepy. But for your female listeners, and you can tell your girlfriend too, that I learned from a very, very hilarious comedian, Shalewa Sharp, out of New York. And I don't know where she learned this, but I've since heard it be validated, is that a woman's perfect lip color, like the lip color that looks the most natural and the best for her coloring, should match the color of her nipples.
That is so specific.
Yeah.
I almost want to write this down. I'm not going to, but I almost want to write that down and tell Jess, here's the problem though. Now now anyone who's listening knows that I'm now going to be telling Jess, and if they hear this and then they see Jess wearing lipstick, then they're going to know immediately what the situation is.
Okay, well then it's a conversation starter. And it's very like, it's one of those things where like women hear it and usually go, huh, okay, yeah. And then like sort of look down their shirt and go, yeah, I see that. And as, a lot of things happen to your body when you're pregnant, but one of them is your nipples get darker. And so I now have like a lip that I could never pull off. Never in a million years.
So that's what I was going to say. So when you have like these women who go out with like the bright red, well, not bright. Do you understand what I mean? Like dark, like deep red.
I wear a red lip.
But then I don't think, maybe I don't know.
That's not matching. No. I'm not saying it's just like if you were to go to Sephora and be like, I just want a color that like is going to match my skin tone and make me look like a little baby pretty perfect. Oh. It would be the color of your nipple.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I also didn't know, not to get like graphic, I didn't know that nipple color changes when you get pregnant.
I didn't either until I was like, these aren't my nipples.
I can't imagine you looking in the mirror one day going, who replaced these? These were not mine.
There's a lot of things I'm looking at where I'm like, this ain't mine. It's real. Well, and like my belly button has started to, because like at some point, some pregnant women's belly button like pops out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, one of my friends had that. Yeah.
And mine is like, there's still an indent, but it's so much less. Like it is leveling out.
Well, you have
very strange.
You have someone knocking at that door.
Yeah.
They're hanging out over there.
You know, there's lots of old wives' tales of like, oh, you can tell you're having a boy, you can tell you're having a girl. But one of them is that girls, when you're pregnant with girls, they make you ugly.
I'm so sorry. I was in the middle of drinking and that was not what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, they like, you get a lot more swollen. And I don't know if it's like a hormonal thing, and that you carry the weight like differently. You end up gaining weight in places outside of just the belly. And that boys, you have like the glow and you're pretty and the weight is just in your belly. But it's like, I don't know if I found it some other places. But yeah, girls make you ugly.
I have to ask my sister. She won't ever listen to this.
No one in your life listens to anything you do.
That's correct. That is 100%.
You're like, mom, girlfriend, sister. They'll never listen to this. They'll never call me. I'll never talk to them again.
No.
It's my dream to get so famous that like my family can do anything they want with me or without me. Like I would love for us to like sing the national anthem at a Colts game.
Sure.
But then also like if my brothers want to do stand up, sure, go do stand up. Ride on my name, honey. I don't care.
How many brothers? How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 older brothers.
And would they ever, if you said to them, if you're like, listen, I will help you write jokes, would they ever do it?
They're both super funny. Very, very funny, very smart, successful in their own careers and right. And I like was drunk at some point and was like, I feel bad that like I did stand up and now you guys like can't do it or feel like you can't. And they go, we would never want to do what you do.
Oh,
like,
no.
It seems awful. But they're both very funny. I could see them wanting to like maybe write a movie with me or something.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like the working vibe.
I would probably yell at them a lot. I would probably do a lot of like, well, in Hollywood, we do it like this. We'd probably murder each other. I have thought like, oh, if I wrote a movie, maybe I would have my brother Michael like pick the music for it because he like loves music. And my brother Ryan's a lawyer. Maybe I definitely ask him lawyer questions, but he's more than a lawyer, you know?
Well, yes, I do know. I'm trying to think like, I don't know if I could work with my sister. Here's what's interesting. So my sister got me, I always liked telling jokes and everything. And then I was coming into high school. My sister goes, you need to join drama club. She's 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
So she was like, you have to join drama club. And I was like, pass. She keeps hammering away. She's like, you have to do this.
That's good.
Well, so I went to do it. I auditioned. This is a little Lanzette family drama. I auditioned. I got a part. She didn't.
Oh, so she was in drama club.
She was.
Too.
She was.
Oh, wow. See, my oldest brother, he was 6 grades above me. So we were not in high school at the same time.
Yeah.
But he was the lead in every single play.
Oh.
Had a fan club, was like a beloved high school actor.
Oh.
And so by the time I got there, it was like pretty big, tough shoes to fill.
I don't know how I would have. You said they're both older. Did the middle one give you the same?
He was not in theater.
Okay.
He was like my oldest brother, he was like, like the cool theater kid. And then my other brother was like really popular.
Oh.
Like really cool and in like really smart classes too.
And then you're coming in and you're just like, what do I do with it?
It's a lot. Yeah. And my mom was a teacher we had a vocational high school that our high school fed into.
Oh, okay.
And my mom worked at that vocational high school. So like I had friends that like had my mom as a teacher. Like it was a lot. It was stressful for me. Yeah.
We had a health teacher and her name was Mrs. Newman. And Mrs. Newman, I mean, listen, she was like a super good health teacher, like, all the props in the world to Mrs. Newman. But at one point, she was like, if any man tells you that they need a Magnum condom, let me show you something. Takes a condom, puts her whole arm in it up to her elbow and goes, if I can fit my arm in here, I think that he can fit in here. Okay.
Wow.
Now, the reason I tell you
Newman.
this story is because in my grade was Dustin Newman. And I felt horrible for him that like he's walking around where like we're all just like talking about the fact, like, can you believe your mom put her arm in a condom?
And we also know now that like he doesn't have a huge dick. No, I'm sure he's packing. Like, she's like, listen, if my son, who's hung like a horse, can fit it in this.
Which is weird because I think that is what she said. I think I'm misremembering. I think that is what she specifically.
I'm like, good teacher, mother of the year too.
What's so funny is she would also ask really answer really like insane. She was the kind of health teacher who was like, ask me anything. I don't even care what it is. And I remember when she got to the section about STDs, the number of people who were not paying attention before who immediately dialed in. Yeah. It was like 50% of the class. They were like, yeah, this is STDs. Okay. Yeah. So what is that?
This is actually what we do need to be taught. It's this and taxes. My mom was a nursing teacher. That was what she taught at the vocational school. And so she had all the STD slides and made my brother Michael and I watch them. We had a snow day and she was like, before you go outside, we're going to have a little lesson. And like made my brother and I sit in my parents' bedroom and watch the STD video. Together on a snow day.
Was it helpful?
I mean, I was still a slut in college. I think it was helpful for high school. My brother and I both still lived it fast and loose a little bit.
You have to.
Yeah.
That is so funny. I had the much more kosher version of that, which was I wanted to go outside and play. And my mom goes, I got these, this is going to date the story a lot, but she goes, I got these CDs and you need to go through them. And I was like, what? And she goes, it's called Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. And have you heard of this?
No.
Oh my Lord.
I'm like CDs. My mom's was on like the click, 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 like a slide show.
Well, listen, I know that too. But she had these CDs in Mavis Beacon and she was like, you have to do this and you can't go out and hang with, I was trying to go to see my buddy Dave. And she's like, you can't hang out with Dave until you do this. And I was like, oh, I'll show her. I'm going to do them all in a day. So I did all of them in a day, thinking that I was proving my mom. I was like, in your face with your stupid rule. And then I was an amazing typer. So like she won.
Is it typing?
It was Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. Yeah, it was typing class.
Oh, I thought it was maybe like she quote unquote teaches typing. And then you get in there and it's like, when a man and woman are deeply in love.
No. I looked up things on Encarta for that. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Looked up some stuff on there just to see what the story was. Not pornographic.
Oh, no, I was told a lot.
I don't think I had the sex talk. Like I'm really trying to remember.
My mom was a nurse. I'm the youngest and a girl. Like sure. you gotta have it with the girls.
The most talk that we had was my dad. We were coming home from the doctor. I think I was like 14 maybe. And my dad took me to the doctor and he goes, hey, and I'm like, and he's not a man of, few words. So I'm like, what's happening? And he goes, all I just wanted to say is that if you end up planning to have your first time sexually, that you can tell me. And I'm
that's good.
I'm here if you need to, talk about it. Just wanted to say it, and we don't have to talk anymore. We can go get bagels, but
I think that's nice. See, with the girls, they're like, you're gonna bleed, it's gonna be a lot of blood, and it's gonna be everywhere. They have to prep us. Yeah. There's blood coming.
Yeah, they're like, listen, it's gonna be a wave. Okay, it's gonna be. If you've seen The Shining, it's worse.
And like for the girls, it's like you're like no. And then it reaches an age too where then girls are embarrassed or ashamed because they haven't gotten their period.
That I feel.
You don't want to be the first and you don't want to be the last.
Are you ready do you want to go to lightning round? How do you feel?
Yeah, let's light it up.
Let's lightning it up. Did you finish your tea?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're way done. I made a whole pot.
Delish. No, I've got maybe a sip left.
I cracked the pot. I knocked it out. This is the lightning round. It's 5 questions. The questions I would say are fast. Your answers don't have to be. And we'll just run on right down the list. Okay?
Okay.
What is a favorite ritual of yours? Mine is brewing tea in the morning. What would be one of yours?
Ooh, I love listening to PTI. Pardon the interruption.
Mike Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser.
Yeah. I listen to it as a podcast and it's extremely soothing to me.
I love. Do you do that? They do the show every day. You listen every morning?
No, so the podcast version doesn't come out until 3:30 Pacific time. I used to watch the show every day and then pandemic, I would listen to it. I start listening to it as soon as it comes out.
Oh my God, I love that. That's a great answer. What is a running bit with a friend or partner you have that makes you laugh?
My dad has a bit where he calls every dog Ernest or Julio. kills me. CJ has a lot. Oh, CJ has a great bit where he'll stand very far away from like a pool or a dock and be like, whoa, like he's gonna fall in, but he's like nowhere close. I love it.
Oh my God, I love that. Solid answers. Question 3, can you do an impression of one or both of your parents?
Yeah, so like my impression of my mom is basically me as an existence, but she's just like a lot sweeter. And my dad, I could do my dad. Hi, Jeff Gailey. I went to Cornell.
No, he doesn't do that. Does he do that?
Pretty close.
Oh, no. I do. Oh my God. Now I need to meet this man. Does he ever come to LA? I'm having him over.
My parents love Palm Springs. They love California. They're looking to get out of Indiana, if you know what I mean.
I do totally know what you mean. I tried to get my mother out of Florida, and I got to tell you, not an easy feat. She hates it there, but she's like, I can't afford a closet in California.
I know. That's what they all say.
Next question. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a particular moment that stings to you?
Oh, yeah. Big time. All the time. I get it mostly with writing jobs.
Really?
And I ended up having it big time when I worked on the ESPYs.
Oh, you know what's funny? If I had to think about a place where I think you'd feel it the least, your wheelhouse specifically, to me, and I'm an outsider, the intersection of sports and comedy for you, that feels like a slam, pardon my pun, but a slam dunk for you.
And maybe that's even what contributed to it being like, this is perfect. And then getting there and being like, oh, shoot, I'm not as good at this as I want to be.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna do the best show. The kicker, something with field bowl. There's a bowl, like a dip bowl, and then they're like, Megan, you need to leave the room.
Yeah, just having Peyton Manning just not laugh at a joke of mine to my face.
Oh no,
that'll hurt you. Just
did he just do this? He just goes,
I don't get it. Oh. And you're like, okay, well, we'll scratch the magician one.
Last question. What is your favorite tea or favorite comfort?
My favorite tea in the morning. Oh, I love a chai. I really do love a chai. But I mean, like, this is going to sound like so trashy. Like a Starbucks chai latte fucking slaps for me. I go nuts for it. And if it's not that, I do love an English breakfast with some milk and some honey in it in the morning to get me going.
Megan, thank you so much for coming. This was so fun.
Thank you for having me.
Do you feel good? Any last things?
I feel great.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. It's lovely seeing you.
Thank you. Bye.
That was Megan Gailey. You can follow Megan on Instagram and TikTok at Better Megan Gailey. You can follow her on Twitter at Megan Gailey. Go subscribe to her podcast, I Love a Lifetime Movie, for her take on all the movies you didn't know you need to see. Steep Conversations is produced and edited by Lucas Marshka. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.